Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I am your host, as always, Tyler Shepardson, and today is Tuesday, June the 3rd, 2025, years after zero. You're joining us just in time for another episode of OTP Tuesday, where we bring you all of the news, all of the action that's going on in the world of off-road motorcycle racing. As always, we are presented by Yamaha USA. I always reach for my Yamaha shirts when we do these shows, but shout out to Yamaha. I had a good time riding mine over this past weekend at the Mason-Dixon GNCC, just across the road from the High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. It's called the Mason-Dixon because you actually cross over the Mason-Dixon for a couple miles of the track. You go into West Virginia, come back into Pennsylvania, and Bob's your uncle. So there you go. Joining us tonight, back in the studio with us. It's been a couple weeks. Big Tom out here with us, man. What's going on, Tom?
What up? Yeah, it's been a minute. Life gets busy. Work.
Good to have you back.
Yeah, work. Work stuff.
Did you ever set up a Sunbelt deal with Stu or what?
Nah, you never sent me his contact.
Wait, you don't have it?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that was on me, but that's on me.
No, I just put it on you.
Oh, we'll get it to you. Get you dialed in. But, yeah, so like I said, OTP Tuesday, presented by Yamaha USA. We've got some stuff to talk about this weekend, or this week, rather. And as always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments on the YouTube Live, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Crazy weekend of GNCC racing. Breaking news. Grant Davis will be on the program next week. We had him scheduled for the program tonight. He had a party to get to. Stu had a birthday party, talked to us, but no. It'll be all good. Grant Davis, the man of the hour, doing ridiculous things. He is a complete sicko, and it'll be cool to hear from him next week. So next Tuesday, make sure you tune in, and we'll hear from Grant Davis himself, who picked up back-to-back overall wins at this past weekend's GNCC. What you got?
Dude, it's wild. He's going to be rolling to the line first, number 1 at Snowshoe.
Yeah.
That'll be wild. And I think we talked about it in our Instagram group. We got, 5 or 6 on the front row? 5?
5.
Yeah. So 4 out of the 5?
3.
3 out of 5? Okay, we got Ben and Liam.
No, Stu. Yeah, so as everyone knows, the start at Snowshoe is a little bit different than the start everywhere else. It is a live engine start at Snowshoe. They take off in groups of 5 down the main street in Snowshoe Village. So Grant Davis is the points leader from the second row, 177 points to Ben Kelly's 173 points. Gus Reardon in the 3 spot, Cody Barnes in the 4 spot, and Stu Baylor rounding out the top 5 fastest riders.
So that'll be your front row at Snowshoe, which is insane.
Which is absolutely absurd to think about. Also, can we think of the last time that Caleb Russell started on the second row at Snowshoe or anywhere else?
XC2 year?
Had to have been.
Maybe his first XC2 year? Because I think his second one he would have been front row. I don't know.
His championship year, I would imagine that he was probably on the front row at Snowshoe.
He won 2 championships, did he not? Shoot, I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But now, heading into Snowshoe in 3 weeks, 2 weeks and some change now, but you get it, 3 weekends. Caleb Russell starting on the second row, Grant Davis, and 2 other XC2 guys starting on the first row, and it will be the first time that we get to see Grant Davis battle not with time, but battle physically. Are you in front of him? Yes. Are you beating him? Yes. You know what I mean? It's not the ghost of Grant Davis that we've been used to, but now all the XC1 guys that didn't really like the fact that the XC2 is starting behind them, they're going to have an opportunity to play with a little bit of time gap and see if they can get in their time from the back rows, because everyone but 2 XC1 guys is on row 2.
Yeah, I mean,
or farther back.
So, and then does that mean is it 5 apiece for the first 4 rows?
I believe it's 10 seconds between the rows.
No. 5 riders.
5 riders, yeah.
So that puts Ashburn on the 3rd row.
Really?
Yeah, because he's 11th in overall points. So I tell you, I was just looking at this, and we can get into it later or next week or something, but kind of previewing a little bit of Snowshoe. Just looking at this for that start lineup, I really like Toth and Ashburn at Snowshoe.
Yeah.
With 10 and 20 second advantage? Well, advantage, disadvantage, whatever.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
And, I mean, Jordan Ashburn's first win ever came at Snowshoe.
Yeah.
Doing just that. Battling the actually, no, I think he might have been on the front row, because I remember him sitting at the finish line waiting on everyone else to finish to see if he finally got the overall.
Yeah.
And it's a technical track. Kind of suits Jordan's style. Got 4th at a hard enduro a couple weeks ago. So I talked to him. He was supposed to race. Last weekend there was a hard enduro on Sunday and Monday, because Monday was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And Jordan had told me that he was going to go over and race the hard enduro on Monday and try to catch the boys when they were tired. And I was like, oh, dude, that's like the perfect storm to go in there and get you a podium at hard enduro.
Where was that at?
It was Tough Like Roar in Pennsylvania, and then there was another one in Pennsylvania somewhere. Might have been on the same property.
On Monday.
I don't know. Yeah. On Memorial Day.
There was no hard enduro racing for me Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Some Coca-Cola 600 action.
Yeah. Man, I missed last week because I kind of wanted to go over that a little bit, but
yeah,
we had a good time.
So we had Marine retired Colonel. I just mixed all my words up. Jody Lynch on the show. He was actually at the 600 and was stoked about all the military stuff that was going on.
Yeah, so I listened to that, and That's why, that came out Monday, right? Yeah, y'all did that Monday. So I listened
on
to
Memorial Day.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and it kind of got me hyped up because, I got, but whatever. I got infield spots at Charlotte, so we camp out in the infield all weekend, go in Friday, leave Monday. It's a long weekend, but Sunday, just like he said, like NASCAR does a huge deal for all the troops and to celebrate Memorial Day, or I don't know if it's celebrate or honor, yeah. But there's always guys in their uniform. They always come around the infield, and we always stop them, shake their hand, thank you for your service, all that good stuff. But this year, our buddy Lugnut had, I take a platform in. Lugnut one-upped me this year, put a platform on top of his enclosed trailer. It was up above mine. Standing on mine, you couldn't see anything. So everybody migrated to his, which was cool for me because I was up over there, had plenty of room, which normally were packed on mine.
I was worried about the structural integrity of lug nuts.
Well, have you seen mine?
No.
Oh, the structural integrity of mine is seen some stuff. Let me tell you, it's loose. But anyway, back to this whole thing. This group of Marines came up, and I don't know if they were in their blues. I guess it was their blues. They were in, nice uniform, whatever. So they came up, got on the platform, got a picture of all of us in the crowd, in the group. It was cool. We were doing Dunkaroos.
Yeah.
And I hollered up. I said, hey, y'all come down here and do a Dunkaroo. And there was one guy. He said, hell yeah. He came down. I got him a big, tall boy Busch Light. Because I figured he deserved a big one. Popped up, did a Dunkaroo, shotgun that thing, and he was stoked. But that was one of the coolest things. Like, those guys are,
in uniform?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So, he was having a blast, man. All those guys were. And it's so cool what they do to, like I said, honor and, the fallen soldiers. And
yeah.
It,
and for those that haven't seen it, man, they bring in helicopters. They got helicopters flying in, guys rappelling off the rope down onto the track. I think in the past they've had people parachuting in, all sorts of stuff.
So they've done it different every year. Like when I was younger, they used to do like a whole reenactment scene on the infield grass, and now I think it's kind of taken over with a concert and stuff like that. But you could hear cannons going off all morning, guns shooting, and then last year they had helicopters flying by with 6 soldiers hanging down from the bottom of the helicopter, just flying around the track. It was so cool. And I was like, we watched that, and I was like, there's no way. And then Sunday morning on the back stretch up on the hill, right beside the big TV screen, they had these huge turrets that I guess they shoot mortars, or they're basically a big cannon is what it is, but it's like a modern day cannon.
Yeah.
But obviously they were shooting blanks out of them, but them things were going off first thing in the morning. They're doom. It was so sick. It sounded like a firework going off, like dropping that tube.
Yeah.
But way bigger and way louder. It was so cool.
Dang. Yeah, I haven't been in a few years, but I'd like to get back out there just because it is pretty cool. And we just rode mopeds in one year and got to see it all before they were doing it.
Yeah, no, it's you always got a place to go because we'll be there, and I think there was 12 or 13 of us there all weekend, and then Sunday there's I don't know, there's probably 80 to 100 people in our campsite just hanging out, partying.
Yeah.
Having a good time. So.
Problem is, we need to quit dirt bike racing on Memorial Day. And every
Talk
other
to your
weekend.
boy Buren.
I'm getting tired.
Your boy Buren.
Was that? I guess that was a Mid-East weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there used to always be a full gas that weekend, or a sprint enduro.
Yeah.
Because they did the ISD qualifier Monday, and
yeah, the 3-day.
Yeah, screw all that.
But, yeah, so getting into this past weekend, it was the return back to GNCC. It is absolutely insane what Grant Davis is doing. Looking at the results, it took until round number 5 to get our first repeat winner on the season, and now Grant Davis does it in back-to-back weeks and gaining the overall points lead. Yeah.
Round 5. Okay, round 5. Yeah. Ben did to it round 5.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. We didn't have a repeat winner until round 5 when Ben went back-to-back. Stu took off a win in between, and then Grant Davis goes out and grabs back-to-back wins himself. Absolutely insane to think that for the second time in the same season, we have an overall points leader from the second row. Now, this is after 8 rounds in, where Grant has been putting up these points, putting up these solid overall points to get into the top spot. Obviously, Nick DeFeo came out and won the first race by 3.5 minutes, which gave him the points lead going into round number 2. And now Grant Davis, like I said, after round number 8, has gone into the overall points lead and will be the first rider introduced up on the mountain at Snowshoe heading into summer break. And if he can hold on to, and I heard rumors back in the day that like Caleb and some other people had bonuses for leading the points going into summer break. So I wonder if there's anything like that in Grant's contract. Also wonder, like, is there an XC2 championship bonus? Is there an overall bonus? Will there even be an overall? I actually called the AMA this week and talked with them. One thing that we talked about the last couple weeks on the show is technically by the rules of GNCC racing right now, there is no overall championship. So then that posed the question, well, if Grant moves up to XC1, if he wraps up XC2 early, moves up to XC1, he is now an XC1 rider. The rules also say that an XC1 rider will be scored off of the overall points. Would that make him the XC1 and the XC2 champion if he is able to get it done? Called AMA, they have no idea. AMA said that they called MX Sports, they have no idea. So it's kind of one of those things that I think we're going to see some rule changes happen to accommodate this situation that I don't think anybody thought that we could be in.
Like this year over summer break?
Yeah. It was of the recommendation of the AMA to kind of get ahead of it and lay out the ground rules now rather than the week of Ironman. Be like, all right, what are we going to do? Here's how it's going to happen.
Absolutely, yeah. They should have been done in December.
Well, yeah. 2 years ago, before the rules were changed, I think it was in there. But now that the rules are changed, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see because the way that the rules are written, that's how it kind of plays out right now. He would be the XC1 and XC2 champion, but then there would be no XC1 champion. And so it's kind of a weird situation based off of the way that the rules are written because do you create an overall championship and give it to Grant and then still give someone from XC1 an XC1 championship? Because if you do that, then somebody owes Stu Baylor an XC1 championship from 2 years ago when Craig DeLong won the overall and Stu won the XC1 class and got nothing for it. That was actually the first year that those rules were changed.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah. Or do you give him the XC1 and XC2 and no one from the front row gets a championship? Because that's the way that it's written.
No. There should be an overall champion, and then there should be class champions. So, in my opinion, I mean, this is just my opinion.
And I think that's how it used to be in the past.
Yeah, it always did. And, well, I've never read the rule book, but from what I know, that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
I just don't think they ever have had, the situation of Stu in, 22 or 20, what did you say? When Craig won? 22?
23.
I don't think they ever had that situation. They've certainly not had this situation.
No.
So, and then, like, to what you said, could Grant end up being the XC2, XC1, and the overall champion? Well, what you're saying is there's no overall champion and there's no XC1 champion.
In the rules, there is no overall champion, but there is an XC1 champion. And the XC1 champion is based off of overall points. But there is no overall champion
But Grant from XC2 is leading they're leading overall points.
In the 50 years of GNCC racing, the XC1 champion and the overall champion has been one and the same. So I think that's when they changed the rules 2 years ago and started paying the top 15 instead of paying classes. They didn't really think that this situation would ever come up. I mean, how could you? Because Ironman of the previous year was the first year we ever saw Grant Davis on an XC2 podium with a third-place finish at the last race of the season. Then he comes out last year swinging, wins 2 overalls last year, and wins the XC2 championship. And now here he is with 2 overall wins this year as well.
So the chances are what will happen by the end of the year is it'll all work itself out, and somebody from XC1 will win the overall championship or win the overall points, but be the XC1 champion, and Grant will be the XC2 champion. But I'm here for Grant Davis just to smoke them boys the rest of the year and cause all this chaos.
Yeah.
Because it'll be interesting.
And not only that, he would then be the first rider. I think no matter how this works out, if they create an overall champion and give it to him, or if he goes out and gets it done this way and he's XC1, XC2 champion, whatever, he'll be carrying the number 1 plate into his rookie season on the front row, which is just absurd to think about. But like you said,
if they amend the rules middle of the year and make an overall championship like it used to be, an XC1 and an XC2 championship. So let's just say as it is right now, Ben Kelly's your XC1 champion.
Yeah.
Grant's your overall champion. You got 2 number 1 plates on the front row.
No, I mean, I think the number 1 plate would have to go to the overall champion.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, that's going to be...
but what if he... Let's just theorize here. We're getting down in the weeds, but let's just say this was his first XC2 championship, and there was no number 1 plate on the front row, and the overall champion on the second row. That'd be wild, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But, I mean... It's so weird to think about, too, because if they do, because there's supplemental rules, which means that they can change at any time. So if it does work out to where they all of a sudden create an overall champion, and then they crown an XC1 champion in addition to, and this is all dependent on Grant Davis getting it done. There's still a lot of racing for that to happen. So don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but at the same time, you can't not talk about it because this is where we're at. You know what I mean? It's happening right in front of us. And so when you think about it from that perspective, like if they do create an overall championship and give, let's say it's Ben Kelly just for the sake of the argument, do they run 2 number 1 plates? Surely you can't have 2 number 1 plates on the front row.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
And I think it would kind of go, I think it would have to go to the overall champion. I think Grant would get it.
I would agree. For sure.
Either way, it's confusing. And also... someone owes the 2023 XC1 champion Stu Baylor
but
a bonus and a number plate.
Do you think Stu even cares about the XC1 championship? No, none of those guys do.
I think, I don't know. It's a tough one because, like I said, that was also the first year that changed. Because you look back at all the years of Caleb winning, he's holding up 2 number 1 plates. He's got an overall plate.
Yeah.
And he's got an XC1 plate.
Yeah.
So it's like that was the first year that they combined it all and said XC1 is going to be scored. The way the rule is written, it says XC1 will be scored off of overall points minus riders that aren't in the class, essentially is what it says. So like right now, Ben Kelly is in second place in points. Stu Baylor is the next XC1 rider in 5th place. So the way it's written, Ben would be first, Stu would be second in points for XC1. But he's actually 5th place overall. So then when you start getting down to like team contracts and bonuses, like how does that work? Like is it written that their bonuses are dependent on the overall or the class? Because if Stu got 5th overall but was second in XC2, does he still get a bonus for second? Is there even a bonus for second and third?
XC2?
In XC1, rather.
Oh. I don't know. I'm confused.
Grant Davis has thrown a wrench into everything that we know
a lot
about off-road racing. But we're going to talk about that more in a minute, more than likely. Let's go ahead and dig up results courtesy of Dimmer's Precision Grading, DPG. DimmersPrecisionGrading.com, full-service grading company, from excavation, land clearing, to building lots, to grading, to demolition, all that in between. Dimmer's Precision Grading is Carolina's finest grading operators. Hit them up, DimmersPrecisionGrading.com. They're going to help us dig up these results as we look into our overall from this past weekend. Round number 8, the Mason-Dixon GNCC. As we mentioned, Grant Davis goes out there and gets the win. And get this, one of the key things that I got from this race is, I've talked about it all season long, Grant Davis would get in the number 2 spot overall, win XC2. He's won all but 2 XC2 races this year, so 6 XC2 wins. But when he's second place overall, he's pissed off that he didn't get the win. He's like, man, I'm glad to be on the overall podium, glad to get a class win, but I should have won. I should have beat Ben today. I'm faster. So he's been pissed in the number 2 spot. And then this weekend, if you look at him on camera, he's pissed off when he finished this weekend.
He was pissed.
And I was standing right there. So, like, as soon as they got to the finish line, I walked up with the camera. And he was mad that he had the physical lead. And he was mad that he didn't get the physical win.
Yeah. He slammed his goggles on the ground.
Yeah.
When he came off.
Well, it was kind of a 2-part thing because, one, as we mentioned, like, second overall isn't good enough for him. He wants overall wins. But now to see him getting mad that he did it on time and not physically, after last round we saw him win the physical overall lead, it just shows the confidence that he has, the expectations for himself that he has, and what he is doing right now is just absolutely absurd, and it's still not enough. Goes back-to-back overall wins, and the first thing he says is he's pissed off that Ben got back by him and Stu got back by him. But he also mentioned, and you can hear it in the recap video, the raw highlights up on the OTP channel right now, he also said that he got stuck in a mud hole heading towards the finish line, and the KTM guys didn't help him.
Really?
So now when you start thinking about, because from KTM's perspective, whether Ben wins or Grant wins, either way, they don't have a number 1 plate in the XC2 because Grant has to move up. And they will have a number 1 plate on the front row, whether it's Ben or whether it's Grant. So from KTM's perspective,
they win.
Yeah, it shouldn't really matter. They have a number 1 plate out front, and they can't get one in XC2 unless Gus is able to go out there and dethrone Grant Davis throughout the rest of the season. But it's super interesting to note that some KTM guys were watching Grant Davis in the physical overall lead stuck in a mud hole and choose not to help him.
I ain't got nothing to say about that.
I mean team tactics when you're trying to block for like other teams or other people, other riders is one thing, but I don't. It's just an interesting thing to note.
Does it surprise you?
No.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's still super weird. You're in the orange, but yeah. So I think that was part of what was fueling the frustration of Grant Davis at the finish line.
I believe it. And we've seen that. I mean, I can't think of any examples right off my top of my head, but we've seen that before. Like, just maybe not KTM to KTM, but between KTM Husky and Gas, we've definitely seen it before.
Yeah. What, like, inner team or with other teams?
Well, yeah, because everybody knows that KTM Husky Gas is all the same thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've been at races and you see the Husky and Gas guys helping everybody, and then the KTM guys don't always help everybody within that same group.
Yeah. Interesting. When Grant was in the physical lead at Talladega, the Gas guys, Jameson, he was the first one running over to Grant to help him out. So, yeah, just an interesting thing to note there. But we'll get back to the results here. Results here.
I was trying to decipher that comment that was left. I think that's what you were doing a second ago when you got spaced out.
Yeah, I was, because I don't know what Clinton is saying.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but
we haven't made it to the YouTube comments. We're not down that. We're not that far in the show yet.
That's a whole new segment too. So
we got a segment for YouTube comments.
Yeah,
interesting. I've missed that.
Just happened out of the blue last week.
Oh, sweet.
And so we can get our sponsors in without doing them all at once.
Does that mean we got a new sponsor? You got a new sponsor?
No, it's Tussle segment now. Trying to figure out how to work it all in.
Interesting.
So Grant Davis takes the win. Ben Kelly also deserves a ton of credit because he is riding very good as well. This year he has taken 5 XC1 class victories, which is equated to 2 overall wins. So 5 XC1 wins for 2 overalls for Ben Kelly, which is absolutely absurd as well. But I think it's safe to say that the BK from back in the day is back. Pretty insane stuff that Ben Kelly's able to do as well. Obviously, I think those guys are training together. At least they spent the offseason training together at Club MX. And then in the number 3 spot overall, second place in XC1 was the 514 of Stuart Baylor Jr. And just a little side note right here. And I know Stu well enough to know that I don't think he's going to get mad at me for saying this, but interesting to note that Stu Baylor is able to go out there and get third place overall, second place in the class. He led some time there over the weekend out in front, came into the pits with the lead, and then kind of mixed it up from there. But Stu could barely walk. I'm sure most people saw the story that he put up of him getting his ankle drained at the track. It was an off-bike incident where he rolled his ankle. That thing looks like a softball's in his ankle. The first time I saw him over the weekend, he was limping, could barely walk at all. So he goes out there, is able to stay out front, able to compete up front. But the interesting thing to note, too, and this is the part that gets a little weird. So Saturday night, the other owner of the RM Red Bear Racing Factory, Kawasaki, Rocky Mountain ATV, MC, I think that's it, team, is J.D. Higgins, who races quads. J.D. lives 15 minutes from the track. And so every year they do like a steak and seafood grill out at his house. Like he's got a big house, like a lot of land, shop, everything. So we were there Saturday night.
Hell, they do that every weekend at Stu's rig.
Yeah. Not as much alcohol at the rig.
Okay.
But yeah, so we were there, and I was videoing. I got to figure out if these videos can see the light of day or not. But I kept videoing all the shots that Stu was taking Saturday night before the race, and ironically, the more shots, the better he was able to get around on that ankle. But his last, I say double shot. I think it was more than double shot, but his last at least double shot of Crown came at 10:44 p.m. on Saturday night, and I don't think we got back into the track until like a little bit after midnight. And so I was like, man, when you win tomorrow, or if you win tomorrow, we gotta get these videos out. But still, to see him do that and then go out and ride like he did, it's impressive, dude. Because there's been several times where Stu drinks a little bit too much the night before, and it's always a good race the day after. Yeah. I don't get it.
Well, the last time I was in here and we had him on, we were joking about hammering out 30 beers for his 30th birthday or something like that. He's like, no, I can't do that no more. I can't do that no more. It's a bold-faced lie.
Yeah. So, and one thing that I brought up that night, too, is the Full Gas Championship in 2019. I think it was between Strang and Stu. They were pretty much tied coming in. I think they were tied going into the final round at the Hidden Valley Golf Course in Beckley, West Virginia. And Grant, that was the only Full Gas that Grant raced that year. There should have been 3 people in the pro class. There was 4 because Grant was there. Stu went out Saturday, and the days are scored separately. So Stu went out Saturday, got dead last. And because if Grant wasn't there and he would have got third and Josh would have won, then he could have done the opposite tomorrow. Like if Josh got third and Stu won, then they would have been tied. I don't know what would have happened from there. But anyway, because Grant was there, he got in front of Stu, and it made the championship to where whatever the points were, whatever the situation, it was lost on Saturday. So Stu got dead last in the pro class Saturday, had no opportunity to win the championship no matter what. Josh Strang didn't even have to race. Mm-hmm. And that night, I don't think I've seen a human being drink that much moonshine in my life. We probably 3 different mason jars full of moonshine got deleted that night.
Oh my God!
Along with a bunch of beers. Saturday night, Stu and I put on a full-blown concert with just us. The band started packing up, so we took the stage and we did our own concert. Dude, probably up till like 2, 3 in the morning. Had people complaining that we were still being loud and stuff. Anyway, plastered.
Yeah.
Sunday, with nothing on the line but a hangover, I think he won the day by over a minute.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
So how did he win the championship?
He didn't win the championship. Strang won it.
Oh, I thought you said he did.
No, the championship was on the line. Strang won it that year.
Okay.
Stu gave it up on the first day and then dominated the second day after drinking. I don't understand how he does it, dude. because that was also it was below freezing. So that night it rained, it snowed and frosted over, and deer tore up the whole cross test. So Hooper comes in the camper at like 6 a.m. And granted, I didn't go to bed till like 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It was me and Eric Geese, and comes in the camper and was like, deer took out the whole cross test. Come on, we gotta go do it.
Damn.
So, dude, we're hungover. We haven't slept.
Ground's frozen.
Ground's frozen. It's 20-something degrees. Everything's soaking wet.
Well, the stakes were probably still there.
Yeah, the stakes were there, but we had to, like, reset them, tear all the banner down.
Oh, my God.
Sit there and do that. Dude, it was that single-handedly was one of the most miserable times I've ever been in.
You sure it was deer, or was it you guys drunk on a moped or something?
Wasn't us. It wasn't us. There has been some drunk casualties after a full gas before, but not that night. So anyway, sorry for going off on a tangent
Back
there.
to the results.
But
Do you even know where you were?
Stu, because that's what started the whole thing. But yeah, for him not to walk and then party down on Saturday night and go out and have a race like that, pretty good. In the number 4 spot, it was Angus Reardon. The XC2 boys were absolutely rolling. They were all together. It was an insane battle between those guys. They are all pushing the pace. Gus gets 4th overall. Cody Barnes 5th overall. Cody and Gus have been battling it out here these past couple rounds. So that rounds out your XC2 podium. And then your final podium spot in the XC1 class went to Jordan Ashburn, 6th place overall, 3rd place XC1. Liam spent some time out front. Lyndon Snodgrass
a big lead.
Spent some time out
while.
front. Yeah. And that's in the video. I tried to leave. Like, I know it gets boring looking at a tree for a little bit, but I do that in certain instances, like when Liam was out front, just to show how big of a gap he had.
Yeah.
Dude, he was rolling.
Yeah.
So yeah, good ride by him. Ricky Russell spent some time out front. Mike Wachowski, 9th place overall. Josh Toth rounds out the top 10, 4th place in XC2. And then Brody Johnson folded a shifter, couldn't shift, had no access to a shifter the last, I think, 2 laps. And he was still rolling. Brody rode a really good race.
Dude, he has been ripping.
Yeah.
He's killing it. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and Cody Smith, actually, and he said, he said, dude, he said, how about Brody? And I was like, yeah, he's riding good. And he's like, dude, if you think about it, the top 4 in the class, arguably, shouldn't be in XC2. Grant, Gus, Cody, and Toth, previous champion. Say what you will, but Grant's winning overalls. Typically, that's not an XC2 guy, right? So typically, he deserves, and he will be, but he deserves to be on the front row.
Yeah.
Gus, he's always battling for that overall podium. Same deal. And Cody Barnes, I mean, he hasn't got one yet, but shit, he's right there, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Toth, the previous champion. So, like, when you look at it like that, where if, like, the XC2 class was still the XC2 class, like the coming up guys, the guys, you know, new to the pro ranks, whatever. Shit, Brody's leading and battling for the win in that class. And he's killing it. It's the Honda, man.
I mean, the only one there that I would say is Toth, because he was a previous champion. He did move up to XC1. But, I mean, Cody, I wonder how many race or XC2 wins Cody has. I don't think it's a lot.
Not a lot, but, like...
He's always been in the mix, but I don't think he's won
But, like,
if
you look at the results on, like, the races this year, he is, like, those, really the top 3. So, Grant, Gus, and Cody. Like, the past, at least 2-3 races? Like, they're not battling, the XC2 class isn't battling the XC2 class.
Yeah.
Outside of those 3. They're battling each other, but they're battling the whole XC1 class.
Yeah.
Well, not the whole class, but, like, you know, the top end of the class. So, those guys, and they will be eventually, top XC1 guys. Like, if you think about it like that, like, because Brody's not there. He's not where those guys are. And yeah, they're still in the XC2 class, and they're trying to make sense of my point. But Brody's riding good. I guess that's the whole point of my.
I mean, he is riding. I mean, I think last week Brody beating Caleb straight up at Mid-East.
That was a big deal.
That was a statement ride.
Yeah,
I think by Brody, and Brody, I believe he won back-to-back Top Am championships. I know he definitely won a Top Am championship.
Yeah.
Then broke his leg, had some complications, came back, broke his wrist, had some complications, won an XC3 championship, and he's kind of worked his way back into this point. But after 2019. Brody was on pace to be the guy, like in XC2 and move up, and who knows where he would be by now had he not had that setback. But there was a time over the past couple years where Brody wasn't the Brody that we saw back then. And so now, especially like with them racing Mid-East and being so close with them and their family and stuff, like to see that transition that Brody is making back to being the guy is super impressive, and it's super cool to see, especially like this year, him earning a spot, on an ISDE team.
Yeah.
It was his first time going out of the country.
I saw that. Yeah. Did you see the thing on the on Racer TV?
Yeah.
You know that boy was sweating being on camera like that.
Oh yeah. He was a little amped up on there, but and also he's selling hats and T-shirts, doing a bike raffle to raise money for ISDE, so you can get a hold of Joyce Riddle or Brody to get involved in that and help their efforts. But
just don't Venmo the wrong Venmo account.
Yeah.
Can you believe people do that shit?
So good thinking by somebody.
Yeah.
But piece of shit.
Yeah, screw them.
Someone they saw that Brody was collecting money through Venmo. So they created a Venmo that had Brody Johnson's picture, and it's the same name, but I think a number on it.
It's so close.
And was trying to snake some of the funds coming through. So
here, let's see if we can.
Good thinking.
Let's see if we can help our boy out.
But yeah, so half my wanting to go to ISD is just to see the Johnsons abroad, because I think that'll be fun.
So Brody's Venmo is BS Johnson, and that's JOHNSON 235. I think the other one had an underscore in it or something. We got problems. Who'd that be?
Running into issues again.
Is that me?
It's this camera.
So yeah, you want to get a hat, T-shirt, enter the bike raffle. Send Venmo or send Brody a Venmo, and it's his last post on Instagram, and it's got, like I said, BS Johnson 235 in his in the caption. So
make sure you're sending money to the right.
Yeah.
To the right person.
And Brody, if you listen to this, and I'm about to DM him, but he should put his Venmo in his bio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send him a message right now.
It'll get to him. I'm getting reports that there might be some issues with our audio, so if anyone can confirm or deny, let us know. But back to the results, and I mean, talking about Brody getting that statement win last week with Caleb. I mean, 11th overall, Thad 12th, Caleb 13th this weekend, Craig DeLong 14th, Jack Walker had a good ride of his own, rounding out the top 15. JoJo Cunningham is absurd. Hopefully we can see him battling with those XC2 guys next year, but JoJo takes the top amateur honors.
I'm mad at him right now. Tried to get him on the show tonight. Shot him a text. Ghosted me. Didn't even read it. What are we doing?
Hadn't shifted gears yet, I guess.
No.
But yeah, JoJo Cunningham gets the win. Chase Landers, who is been riding really good himself, gets second place, 250A, second top am, and then Gavin Simon rounds out the top am podium, just behind Josh Strang, who could barely stand at the end of the race, dealing with a stomach bug there, so a good ride of his own. Caleb Wood took the four-stroke A Lights win, 28th overall, good ride by him. Cole Whitmer been riding good. Will Siebenpiper riding good. So a lot of good racing, a lot of good riding this past weekend at the Mason-Dixon GNCC. And then we go to the morning race at the Mason-Dixon. Ethan Harwell, we saw him go out, and he's raced several Sportsman A classes this year. And He went out and raced it again this past weekend. He won the overall at Powerline Park. That was one of the things he wanted to do. This is his first year on big bikes, and so kind of wanted to get his feet wet and learn some racecraft before racing the 3 hour.
Is that why he's not doing the 3 hour?
Yeah.
Interesting, because you always see guys go from mini bikes straight to the A class or to the B class and run that 3 hour, but I don't know. Interesting. We haven't seen very many guys go from being top mini bike riders to the morning race.
Yeah. It seems like there's more and more trying to go to C class for whatever reason. But yeah, typically go to B or A. But Ethan,
how old is Ethan?
16.
Okay.
I think he just turned 16.
Yeah.
But good buddies with his dad, Scott Harwell, and from what he was saying too, just kind of learn the racecraft to get ready for that jump up in competition was one, because he's been running pro class at Mid-East.
Yeah.
So he races the front row at Mid-East. But I think a big part of it too is like the money. Like it takes a lot more money in parts and effort to run the 3 hour than it does to run the morning race. And I think from their thought process too, that going out there and beating the girls, that doesn't happen very often. Yeah. So it kind of gets some attention when it does. Even though they put up their graphic and didn't give him credit for the overall win this time.
They used to.
Yeah. I think when he won in Powerline, they did.
Did he win Powerline?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But they used to, and they used to have the Sportsman A guys on the overall podium.
Yeah. Way back when they did. They haven't had him on the podium in a while, which
That's dumb.
Can kind of go back and forth. Like, I get it that you want the women to be the premier class, but that's still to go out and be the best in the morning.
Yeah.
With most of the time 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 people. I think that's worth a chat. You know what I mean?
346. I keep forgetting that this thing's on the screen. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. So, yeah, shout out Ethan Harwell. Because Colton McQuarrie, who is also insane. I think someone told me that kid's 13 years old.
Damn.
And he said there was one spot in the video. I put the WXC in the morning race up on our YouTube channel as well. And he came out one time, dude. He was fist pumping, like, dude, about knocked himself off his bike. He was fist pumping so hard. And he was pumped to be out in front. And then the next time I saw him, Ethan Harwell had gotten back around him.
I say, did he physically get to the front?
Yeah.
Were both of them physically ahead of the girls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Colton at one point was physically ahead of Ethan.
Really?
And
what row do they start on? Well, he started way back.
I'm not sure. What was I think the time between them was only like 7 or 8 seconds. Yeah, 7 seconds, 8 seconds.
Yeah.
7.5, whatever it works out to be.
That's wild.
Between those two. But yeah, for Ethan to go out and get that win, it's not easy to beat those girls. For him to do it twice, pretty cool deal.
Yep.
But Colton McQuarrie, who, if he is 13 years old, that is insane. Also, just remembered that we did not check in with XC3. We definitely need to do that in a second because I got something about that too. But Colton McQuarrie in the number one spot overall, minus sportsman riders. Corey Steed and Rachel Archer battled back and forth. They swapped back and forth a ton. Corey Steed was able to put it on her there at the end and go out and take the win from the women's pro class and second place overall. And then Rachel Archer rounded out the overall podium minus sportsman, and Danielle McDonald, who has been riding really good herself. She's been on pretty much every podium this year that she's been racing. So shout out to her, especially doing it in her first year, coming back from injury as well. Impressive stuff by Danielle McDonald on that AmPro Yamaha team. Probably because she's on a Yamaha. Best bike around, you know what I mean? Podiums just rev your heart. And she goes out there and gets them done. Now, we move to our XC3 class. James Jenkins dethrones Jonathan Johnson. He takes the win. Jason Crawford rounding out the podium. The reason I want to bring this up is because we still have a person mad at me from years ago when I predicted that a Brody Johnson would win pretty much every race. He didn't blow up. And I guess people took offense to that. Sorry about it. But I got a message from James Jenkins, one of the twins that aren't twins, but on the show they're twins. He messaged me and said, I'm not going to say that I was mad when you said that Jonathan was going to win every race. But he said, I am happy to prove you wrong. Here, let me pull up the message.
Oh, so you said the same thing again about Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were here. Remember we were talking about the group chat.
Yeah.
And talking about if Jonathan was going to be able to do it. And that's when I was like, he'll probably win every race he doesn't blow up. Just because like I know the Johnsons, and dude, they don't quit. I need to find this message because I also forgot to reply to it. I'm sorry, James. Tons of respect. I did read it. I just got busy.
And they went back and forth a lot, actually. 1-2, 2-1, 1-2, 2-1, 2-1, 1-2.
But he ended up beating him by a couple minutes, didn't he?
2 minutes and 11 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Jonathan sucks, dude. He's done. This is James Jenkins' class. Just kidding, Johnny. Where
You're going to make the whole XC3 class mad.
Just an XC3 hater, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That class is weird. It's a weird class.
I mean, ever since its inception, I think one year we had like some good battles.
Yeah.
And every other year it's just been a runaway.
It
seems like.
The year, let's see.
Jack Edmondson was beating the brakes off of Jason Thomas and then got hurt. And so Jason won a championship.
But he won 2 of them, didn't he?
No, I think he.
I don't know, but there was a year that there was Jason.
Maybe he did win 2.
There was Jason. There was Jason Raines. There was Jesse. And then Jack. And that was a pretty interesting year. I'm pretty sure all 4 of those were.
Really?
I think so.
Did Jack win a championship?
I don't know.
I know Jason Thomas won 3 championships, but I think
then he's got 2 XC2s.
Okay, so then 1 XC3.
Yeah.
Because he ran 111.
Yeah.
That was tricolored.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that year Eddie was beating him and then got hurt when he went back to England.
And then Raines was winning a bunch of those races too, which was pretty cool to see when it first started.
Yeah. And then Jesse won 2.
Yeah, I think so.
And Jonathan won 1, and Brody won 1.
Yep.
Zach Hayes won 1.
Yep. And then did Jack Walker win it last year?
No.
No?
Nope.
Who won it last year? Oh, One Nut got 3rd. I know that.
Why can I not think of his name?
I don't know.
So Jack pretty much had it covered in his bike let go at Ironman. Oh, it's driving me nuts. I wanted to read it because it was really funny. And it was cool that he called me out.
Why don't you look his Instagram up and then go to the DMs on his page?
He might have messaged my other account.
You got too many of those. He probably messaged on the pipe. Or is it T-shirt?
Okay, he said, your prediction of Jonathan winning all the XC3 races he finished didn't make me mad at all. I just had to prove you wrong. In all seriousness, I love the podcast and listen to all of them. My dad and Huck do as well.
Nice.
Which, fair play, dude. I thought that was... I read that as I was editing the video, I think. That's why... But, like, I read it instantly, and, like, I said something to Johnny about it. I was like, man, you're getting me in trouble. I called him. I was like, man, what the hell happened out there? You're making me look bad. No, just because I'm good buddies with them. But, yeah, shout out James Jenkins, dude. He's leading the points by a mile.
Yeah.
And, yeah, for him to go out there and beat Jonathan.
Well, that was my my first thought was, does this screw up Jonathan from being able to win the points?
Well, Jonathan missed 4 races.
The first 4.
So, there's pretty much no way that he can win it.
No?
No, XC2 gets 2 drops. So, he's got 2
what about
goose eggs.
XC3?
XC3 gets 2 drops.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's got 2 goose eggs on the card. So, I don't think there's any way that he can win it. Which, I wonder, I'm sure they follow pro scoring, right? Like 30, 25, 21?
I have no idea.
I would imagine they have to be.
They don't tell you, does it? I don't
know. Yeah, it has to be because that last guy at the bottom, Robert Weiss, with 4th, 18 points. That's pro points for 4th.
Oh, okay.
That would be 16 points if they ran the amateur scoring system. So, yeah, he can gap him a little bit, but, go back to that real quick. Jonathan will have 2 zeros, no points. And James, right now, his lowest scoring rounds are, 4th and 5th? So his lowest score right now is 2nd. So,
yeah.
I think he's well on his way to becoming a champion. And now he can say, good to beat Jonathan Johnson, too. But
has a Japanese bike ever won that class?
Yeah.
Who?
You know. I don't know. I was thinking Jason Thomas, but he raced the Yamaha NXC1. He raced the YZ250F. But I think he won his championship on a Husky.
He did.
NXC3.
Yeah. Todd Palmer Husky.
Jesse won on KTMs. Brody and Jonathan won on Huskies. Zach Hayes won on a KTM.
This is driving me nuts.
So here we go, baby. Blue Crew. Blue Crew on their way to the first XC3 championship. Shout out. One of the, I guess the only Japanese 2-stroke 125.
Dakota DeVore.
Going to be getting it done. Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, I thought that was hilarious coming from James Jenkins saying that because we talk about him every week because he's always up there. He's always in the mix. Talk about the email that I got about the Jenkins boys. So, yeah, it was really funny to read. I'd like to chat with him and see him at the next race because that was cool. And like I said, I make these predictions, and it was kind of just one of those things like I don't think that Jonathan would go back down. He was racing for money. He's racing to pay the bills, and that adds a little bit of extra to it. So that went into my decision making there. But now let's move over across the world and talk about the Erzberg Rodeo. Erzberg. Still waiting on this camera to charge back up. So we're rolling you guys along with results on the page. Erzberg, I've started watching the broadcast. I didn't get all the way through it. I do want to go back and get through it. First of all, important takeaways. Cody Webb is super gnarly. He built that YZ250 into a hard enduro bike. He got hurt last year in the prologue at Erzberg, so talked to him a little bit. He said that he was a little bit not intimidated, but kind of left a little bit on the line at the prologue. So he ended up qualifying for the 2nd row, which is already a big disadvantage to be starting on the 2nd row. I think 50 riders per row, and when you're starting to head up that mountain and dealing with the bottlenecks, not good. But he did say that his bike felt really good during the race. Like, he was really gelling with it. He said some of the techie, slower climbs where that 300 power just makes the power down low. He said those were really the only things that it struggled with. But overall, the bike was handling very good during the race. But he also came in for the pits. I guess the vent hose on his bike got clogged up, and radiator fans blowing hot air on the gas tank with nowhere to vent made for really hot gas under a lot of pressure. If you haven't seen the GoPro footage yet, he comes into the pits, opens the gas tank, and it was like a lava eruption, just gas spraying up all over the place. Hot fuel to the eyeballs, to the chest, to the pants, to everywhere. Ended up borrowing some underwear from Tristan Hart and borrowing some gloves from Will Reardon and went back out and tried to finish the race. Was making up good time. Ultimately didn't get to finish. I think he said he was in the pits for 28 minutes. So started on the 2nd row, already 5 minutes down, and then 28 minutes in the pit stop with the invisible fire, as he called it, just hot fuel burning you all over the place. So not a perfect day for Cody Webb, but still went out there, still gave it his all, and I think that just fueled the fire for him next year to go out there and finish on the Yamaha, the Blue Crew machine out there, putting on a good showing, all things considered. Other takeaways from the race, 14 finishers this year. So only 14 people finished the race out of, I think 500 riders is what Big Tom was saying.
100%. Taddy Bezuziak got last.
I thought it was 300, but I guess 500. Yeah, it's still going. There's a lot.
Up.
Oh, we got some did not start. 483.
Nope. 500.
Oh, 500.
Hey, and while we're this far down, I'm taking over.
Also,
I want to shout out to Jesse Warner. Warner? How you say that?
who's that?
He was the last place finishing American over there. Good job, buddy. Glad you went.
The last place finishing American?
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
I wonder where he's from.
We're probably the only people that would give him a shout out.
Dude, he's on a TE 250. What's
Yeah.
Cody Webb going on about? There's a lot of 250s in that race. Damn, that dude's on a 450F. Go back down. I think I saw Paul Torres on there. How far did he? So, also interesting to note that the entire fourth row got disqualified on the start
Why?
because half the row jumped early and they disqualified the whole row.
Damn.
But you watch it back, there was a group of riders that didn't move, but they still disqualified the entire row. So could you imagine,
Oh, I'd be pissed.
like, once in a lifetime thing to even make it to that final row?
Well, because to qualify on the prologue is gnarly.
That's what I mean.
Did you see some of the wrecks?
Yeah. Dude, to get across the country, get a bike over there, get it lined up, race the prologue, make it into the race, and then be disqualified on the start because the whole entire row took off?
Hello, Tyler. How can I help?
How can you help?
My watch is over here talking to me. Absolutely insane. So I did see Paul
Right here.
Torres' name somewhere.
Right here.
Wait, is he one of the disqualified riders?
A 170 Yamaha.
He had to have been
He got
disqualified.
checkpoint 0.
Yeah, so I think he was on one of the disqualified riders. So those that don't know, Paul Torres is a trials bike rider that over the last several years since the Yamaha Tenere 700 came out, he has been doing things that should not be possible on a Tenere. Doing trial stuff, doing hard enduro stuff on a full-blown 700cc twin adventure bike by Yamaha. I don't think that he's hit a deer at 65 miles an hour on one and kept going.
The
So-
deer hit you.
No, I hit it. It was standing still. I was going 65.
That's
I hit
not
it.
the story you told me.
Well, it ran out in front and then cut back, and I smoked it.
So it hit you.
No, it didn't hit me.
Oh, by the way, just got an update from John. He's listening.
I saw a Snapchat come through, but I haven't been able to see it.
He said he's not eating till the next race. He's in training. Going to lose a little LBs,
Yeah,
get a little more HPs out of that 125.
yeah. I did talk to him on the phone, and he said that he hadn't trained at all. I was like, man, I'm out of shape.
Rounds of shape, John.
Well, now
I don't think that boy's ever going to get round.
one of them Jenkins twins done put it to him. He's
He's
going to
got to
get on a
get
training program now.
serious. You got to start training with Brody.
So anyway, Paul Torres is doing things that most people can't do on a 300 two-stroke. He's doing it on a 700cc adventure bike from Yamaha. If you haven't seen his Instagram page, go check him out. That's him right there, POLTARRES. Dude, I'll tell you what, he revs shit out of my heart. Go look at his Instagram page because he does stuff that does not seem possible. Actually, the year that Caleb Russell raced Erzberg, Paul Torres on a 700cc adventure bike made it farther in the checkpoints than Caleb Russell did on a regular bike. So absolutely absurd what he's able to do. So that really sucks that he was one of the people that got disqualified before the race even started. But other things to note, as I mentioned, 14 finishers out of more than 500 riders. Dieter Rudolph was the last rider to finish, and you have 4 hours to finish it. I think his time was like 3:59 and some change. Jonathan Johnson is on the stationary bike right now listening to OTP.
Put on the camera.
So James Jenkins, oh, there we go.
Oh. Uh-oh. Watch out, boys.
James Jenkins is messaging in saying, train all you want, Johnny boy. I got you covered now, son. So, yeah. Also, I think he's from Austria, so doing it in his home country. But I think, so he came in and was like doing donuts and waving and stuff and then
He
fell
was stoked. Yeah.
coming into the finish. And I think he finished with 8 seconds left. I want to say it was 3:59,
close, yeah.
like 52 was his finishing time. So right before the cutoff to make the final finishing.
Because at 4 hours, they cut you off. You're done.
Yeah, you're done. Wherever you're at, you're done. That would suck if you're like inside of the finish line. Other important things to note, Alfredo Gomez, I think he had a really good ride on a beta. Will Reardon
Yes.
friend of the program, the first Australian to finish
Yep.
the Erzberg Rodeo, and he gets 9th place on the day on the Sherco. What an insane ride by Will.
Yeah, he was stoked.
Yeah.
I think he went 2 years ago and was I don't think he either didn't make it through Carl's dinner.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it Carl's Diner.
It should be Diner.
It
It's
should
dinner.
be Diner. I don't think he either didn't make it there or didn't make it past it. I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But he didn't get nowhere near finishing.
So this year they actually split it up.
He went through it twice.
Yeah, they had Carl's Dinner Low and Carl's Dinner High.
Yeah. Diner. Upper and lower. It's a 2-story diner.
It's dinner.
Yeah, well.
It shouldn't be, but it is. But yeah, so Will Reardon getting it done, dude. Awesome. Down a pair of gloves that he let Cody Webb use.
And how about Graham Jarvis?
Yeah,
Old man.
that's what I was going to get to next. Graham Jarvis at 68 years old finishes 8th place.
I think he's 50.
I think he's 52.
He's in his 50s.
52 or 53.
Yeah.
Because he was, I want to say last year I did some filming with him for Moto Milk Oil at the
What a
TKO.
strange name. Moto Milk Oil.
Yeah,
You don't ever want your oil to be milky.
that's the name.
Interesting.
And it's got dynamic viscosity multipliers, or I forget what it's called.
Viscosity.
I got a video of Graham Jarvis not being able to say that either. But yeah, did some filming with him, and I think he was 51 then, so I think he's got to be 52 now at TKO last year.
And I don't know if you've already brought it up, but Johnny Walker on the Triumph.
Getting there. We're working
Okay.
our way up.
All right. We're going backwards.
Yeah. So, yeah, Graham Jarvis was going to bring that up. He was number 58. Maybe he is 58. But, no, it's absolutely impressive what he's able to do to go out there and still compete. Not even compete, like compete for wins, dude. He finished 8th. And he's won Erzberg, I think, 5 official times, but should be 7. Got disqualified for missing checks 2 times.
Oh.
So it should be a 7-time winner, which is just absolutely absurd.
I did notice something this year on the checks. They didn't have to stop.
Yeah.
Normally they have to stop and get scanned
Yeah.
and then keep going. They was just blowing through
I think
them
they got
things.
transponders now. Because I noticed that too, that none of them were stopping.
Did you see
I was wondering who was going to get rid of the grocery store scanners first between Erzberg and North Carolina.
It's Erzberg. Was it? It was.
At least Erzberg has a real flagger.
Okay, we'll get there. Are we going all the way up?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get there. 3rd and 4th battle.
Yeah. The other thing to note, Johnny Walker obviously makes the big splash this offseason, moves to Triumph, and now the first thing that you're thinking is, hey, he's a hard enduro guy. They don't make a 2-stroke yet. So Johnny Walker on a 250F Triumph dirt bike goes out there and gets 6th place, finishes the Erzberg Rodeo in 6th place on a 4-stroke. Tristan Hart, obviously one of the favorites from Canada coming in, would round out the top 5. Read his status. Don't think he was happy about it. And then
Yeah, because he was in that 3rd place spot for a long time.
I haven't made it all the way through yet.
Oh, I did. I didn't see the beginning of it, but I saw about halfway through, and I watched it.
The broadcast?
Yeah. He was in that 3rd place spot with like plenty of gap, actually catching Billy Bolt, and made some mistakes, and then he had a bike issue going into the Dynamite. The Siberia Dynamite? Siberia Dynamite? Like on that road coming into it, and they showed him, bike was laid over his chain. Chain? Yeah. His chain got stuck. I think a master link broke or something, but his chain broke, and it was all crammed up, so he got it pulled out, and then had to steal one. No. His front sprocket bolt came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then he ended up stealing one off of another bike that was there, and evidently that dude was pissed.
Like a dude that was stuck in the woods?
No, like a guy that was like, because I guess people ride their bikes around the mine and like go to different
really?
sections. Yeah.
All right, let me get
so he
that.
stole one off, and it said the dude was pissed, so he went to the next bike and stole it.
Yeah. So
But yeah, that's what happened to Tristan, so he was pissed.
that's one of the things about hard enduro too, is that you can't have outside assistance. Mm-hmm. So like people can't technically bring you parts. But say all of a sudden that underneath a bush there was just a brand new set of chain and sprockets. You can use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also saw a bunch of the clips of the dudes like all towing ropes, like hooking ropes up and
pulling
like 3 or 4 deep, pulling bikes up.
There was a one of the first years of the Battle of the Goats. This is way off topic, but there was a GoPro video of a guy. Jason Thomas gets stuck, and this guy was like, "Hey man, I'll help you. You help me."
I can guess what happened.
Pulled Jason up to the top, and the dude looks at him, and Jason just keeps on going. Never. He's like, "Fuck that guy."
Oh my god, that is the most on-brand Jason Thomas story I've ever heard.
I love it.
I wish he could hear this, but I'm still blocked. He's probably going to sue me for even bringing his name up. But yeah, that sounds about on brand. Cody Webb made it to checkpoint 23, the Motor X Highway.
I thought we were going up results, not down.
Well, I just noticed that down there when you were pointing out Siberia Dynamite. But yeah, you said something about the battle for 3rd and 4th?
Yeah, so that Mitch... Brightmore and...
T.O.
Teodor
Kabakchiev.
Yeah, that. Dude, they were like, they came out of the Dynamite, down onto the roads, back through the prologue, like wheel to wheel. And they were full tuck going down the mine road. Just, and they dropped down one hill to another road, hop over a big rock berm, and there was like a fence. And the dude saw the fence and turned left. Well, the track went straight to the right of the fence. And he had to come out and around it.
Oh.
And then got back on right in front of the dude, and they were wheel to wheel into the finish. It was sick.
That's crazy.
But they were talking about it being a penalty. And Taddy was on the broadcast at that point. He was like, nah, he says, just like going off the track at Supercross, like he didn't gain an advantage. He actually went out of the way. So he didn't get penalized.
Could you imagine going full tuck on a 300 wide open on the softest moose bib to ever exist with the softest tire to ever exist?
With a wall and a cliff?
Yeah.
No. But that being said, I bet those bikes are geared way low, so they're probably not. I mean, I know they're flying, but they're probably not like normal 300 speed.
And one of the things that we were talking about before we started doing the show is like I wonder what Johnny Walker had to do to be able to finish that race on a 250F and not boil over to not grenade the bike and be able to get it done. I did hear one of the things he did. He has an 11-tooth front sprocket.
Yeah, they were talking about that.
Yeah,
which I guess is big,
small
or small.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going down in the front is like going up in the rear. So I don't know what he was running for a rear sprocket, but he had an 11-tooth front sprocket. But, like, I wonder what they were doing in terms of fans, in terms of coolant. Like, how was he able to keep the heat down on that bike to be able to make it?
I don't know, and they said something interesting on the broadcast that you might start seeing more 4-strokes at Erzberg. These hard endurance events because of like regulations and EPA and stuff.
Oh,
yeah, which is crazy because I don't think 500 guys on 4-strokes would go very well.
I'll tell you what, Johnny Walker got me inspired. I got a YZ 250FX in the garage that needs to race TKO.
Manchester.
Well, so I need to see when TKO dates is if it overlaps with ISDE. But it's like, I love that bike. That bike handles so well, and it's got so much torque that it would be good. The only thing I'd be worried about is the weight of it and being able to keep it from overheating. Mm-hmm. But then, like, I know you got, like, Evans or waterless coolant, stuff like that, but that stuff just seems like it's worse for the motor to be running liquid lava through your motor than to just have it boil over. I've never understood the Evans thing or the science behind it. But it would be cool.
Yeah. I guess it's still cooler than having none.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Billy Bolt in the number 2 spot, Manny Lettenbichler in the number 1 spot. Those two dudes gapped everybody by a lot. And they did it super quick. But, like, the other thing that we were talking about Erzberg is when you start on the second row, or even if you get a bad start on one of the first rows, riding the course itself is one thing. Riding the course while there are bikes down in every line that could be imaginable, like, how do you even do that? Like, if you're not one of the first people to it, how do you... I want to know how Cody Webb got as far as he did. Because by that time, you already got 50 bikes that are laying in every good possible line that there is. And, like, even watching them dudes go through Carl's dinner, like, the top guys were struggling through there. So then and it's one of the first things. So it's like, once some of those people make it up those first couple of hills and get to it, and they're stuck everywhere, how do you even navigate that? How do you even give yourself an opportunity? Because Graham Jarvis, he started on one of the second or third rows too, and was able to finish.
Yeah. He got up to
So it's
8.
like, how do you get through all that? Especially as old as
Well,
dude, that's crazy what
At least,
Graham Jarvis
at least
is
they
doing.
didn't have Ryan Sipes to wreck in front of everybody on the very first hill this year.
I don't
Remember that? When Sipes went and did it, and the very first hill out of the mine, they come up, it wasn't even a big hill. It was like on like a road bed going up.
Yeah.
On the rocks, he just washed the front, ate shit right in front of everybody. Caused a huge bottleneck.
Damn.
And he was like second or third.
That's crazy.
You didn't see that?
If I saw it, it would probably be familiar. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But I did. So the Ryan Sipes came and raced Battle of the Goats, and he did say that Battle of the Goats was harder than Erzberg, which I thought was pretty interesting.
I don't know. We were just watching Johnny Walker's video before the show, and like the first little while of it looks like a damn hair scramble. It looks fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're going wide open.
They're flying.
And it's like, the announcers were kind of talking about it too, but some of that stuff, like those hills didn't look that bad. But I bet in person, those things are like 50-degree angles.
Well, they're all rock. And they're all just like pushed. It's just pushed dirt down the hill, right? So it's soft.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if years of doing it like has built a little bit of a base.
Yeah.
But
it's got to be way steeper than what it looks. Did they go through Green Hell this year? I haven't made it that far. Green Hell looks like the worst thing ever.
The one that always was the elevator. I always thought the elevator was wild. Where they come down and they have to cross this old like mine elevator.
Yeah.
And it's like metal tracks, and they have to come down and cross it. You ever seen that? But I think they went up it one year.
It's crazy.
What's it called?
Green Hell. That was the one, I think the year that the four guys came across the line and finished together, they all had to help each other up Green Hell. Like no one could get
When was
up
that? I don't remember that.
What year was that? What year for Erzberg winners?
No. So there was 4 guys at one?
Yeah. They none of them could get up that section. And so they sat there and helped each other up, and since they all helped each other and couldn't finish without each other, they all got in a line together and crossed the finish line like in a row of 4. Google's not helping me.
You know what's wild is hadn't David Knight won Erzberg? I'm pretty sure he did, like one of the first years. Him and Taddy used to go back and forth.
I'm not sure.
Right.
But this is an absolutely insane fact that I just found while looking for this. Oh, now I clicked the damn article and it disappeared. Where'd it go?
Yeah, he won in 2005 and 2006.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Let's see. In 2005, this first attempt at the Iron Giant, he beat Juha Salman by a massive 11 minutes.
Really? That was Erzberg, not a GNCC?
Can we get in trouble for looking at Red Bull on the podcast?
I don't know. I think that's the same thing. Oh, no. I'm on a different thing on Red Bull. But It disappeared. Hard Enduro is really cool. I want to get more into it. So the most successful rider at Red Bull Erzberg Rodeo with 5 wins in a row between 2007 and 2011 is Poland's Tadej Blasusiak. Graham Jarvis has won it 5 times, although not consecutively. And that's where I was mentioning, too. He actually physically won it 7 times, but 2 of them got taken away. I thought they were getting into the part that I was looking for. Anyway, it says it on the thing, but then when I click the article, it goes away. In 2007, Tadej Blasusiak came to the race as a spectator and won on a borrowed bike. He showed up as a spectator, borrowed a bike, entered the race, and won it, which is insane. I wish I could find the one that I was talking about. Let me know if you can find it. Anywho, we're getting off the rails here. So now, there's not a lot of YouTube comments to get to, but this is when we pick it up and go to our YouTube comments and answer all the stuff that people are saying in the chat. This is looking back at the comments with Zach Tussle. I think I had a more clever name for it last time, but Zach Tussle is helping bring you this program. Zach Tussle is a racer and a financial advisor with Raymond James Financial. He helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. Last week, we did a part of the show where we let you know that if you would have started investing $500 a month since Zach Tussle started investing with us, you would have over $25,000 right now based off of real market conditions. So don't delay it any further. Go to TussleInvestments.com or find Zach Tussle on the socials. Let him know you listen to OTP. You get a free consultation exactly what it is that he does and how he can help you out. And, very valuable stuff there. Bama Boy says, T-Shep, what's up, buddy? Bama Boy, what's up, dude? So this is the message that we both kind of stroked out on trying to read earlier. Clinton Stefan says, number 1, current overall pro champion, XC2 bike champion, 4x4 pro, and WXC national champions must compete with the number 1. I don't know what the point of that was. Oh, I guess current overall champion when we were talking about the XC. If they gave out an XC1 championship and an overall championship, I guess it would go to the overall, which is kind of what we ended up settling on anyway. If Grant Davis is able to get it done. Paul Alley says it's going to be like the Beverly Hillbillies when the Clampets go to Maui. I'm assuming that is going to be Brody Johnson in Italy. Has to be what that is talking about.
That's great.
I can't wait. But, yeah, he just said that he had to get his passport and everything because he hadn't been out of the country yet. So, like, getting over there, because they're from backwoods, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to have a good time in Italy. Gabe Goodman, audio is in and out, both mics. So that's the same thing Mindy texted me earlier. But
Did we fix it?
I don't know. Everything from my end is looking fine.
We got 36 guys watching.
Paul Alley says Paul Torres is a badass. I agree with that. Yeah, that wraps it up for all of our YouTube comments.
Oh, we're going to get more. Come on. You got any on Instagram? You put a thing up.
Let's double check.
We always forget about those.
Let's go to our Instagram responses and see what we got. We'll go for the interesting ones.
Nah, do them all.
The guy 5050505 says, "Who's talking shit about Stu?"
Everybody.
Everyone. Hope this helps. Why is GNCC scheduling rain for all of the races? Wondering that as well.
Well, hold on. It's Mother Nature. Can't control that bitch.
It has been a muddy season.
What you doing over there?
Looking up a race to see. So our next comment was while I was looking this up. Hammerseth says, Not much coverage, but 24-hour at Perry Mountain was pretty legit. Carolina XC boys won it. So the Perry Mountain 24-hour race happened sometime. There's not a date. I'm assuming this past weekend. And the Carolina XC boys did, in fact, win it. Chase Hayes, Lee Hallman, Justin Snipes, Christian Scott, Andy Carlson, and Zach Hayes won it.
Do those look like fun?
Their total time, they won by 3 minutes. So 24 hours of racing, and 3.5 minutes was the gap.
That's pretty close for 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours racing. Second place was Ibex Pro Elite, Colby Yarborough, Andrew Clark, William Hallass. That's got to be a different William Hall.
No, it was him. I saw it on
raced
his, I think on his Instagram story.
Oh, Ty Kelly, Ensign Payne, and Chase Bright. And this would be the team that you would be on, the team that you would be proud to be associated with.
Is it
in
the Bush Light
three.
Bikers?
It's the Bush Light Banditos.
Let's go.
Sammy Doris, Travis Hardcastle, Jeffrey Sanders, Christian Burdine, Josh Seto, and Teddy Mullins.
Hey, what was Bush Light Bandits?
Bush Light Banditos.
Banditos. Hey, if y'all ever need a fill-in or a guy, hit me up.
Graham Cracker says Cody Webb is nuts. I agree.
Hey, how about his gas deal? We didn't talk about that.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah.
We didn't.
I did.
Must have been while I went downstairs.
Yeah. You disappeared.
Yeah, I had to pee.
To join the Banditos.
Yeah, they called. I went down to get some of my Bush Banditos.
Yeah. Jeff says BSJ 235, no shifter for 2 laps. That confirms it. 2 laps. No shifter. David Matten says racer strength and conditioning programs.
Wonder what gear he was in. Brody.
I don't know.
Brody, if you're listening.
Yeah. One of you guys, send us a Snapchat.
Yeah.
Brody, what gear were you stuck in? Because you were still rolling. Oh, I'm sitting here looking for my phone. It's in my hands.
Yeah, you dumbass.
What
was that last one?
Racers strength and conditioning programs.
Go
fast, don't die.
No, the top level guys work their ass off.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's so many different trainers and stuff out. That's why I didn't want to get into it, because as soon as you leave one out, then everyone's gonna be mad.
Yeah,
there's a lot of trainers.
But the guy, is that what he's asking? Like who or what do they do or what?
I think racers strength and conditioning programs. They all have very structured programs.
Yeah, they do a lot of cycling, a lot of riding, nutrition. I mean,
a lot of bicycling.
A lot of bicycling.
Mountain biking, road cycling.
Yep.
Dirtbike Mag says, how do you... Oh, yeah, we got 2 articles out in Dirtbike Mag. Caleb Russell article came out last week that I wrote, or last issue, the new issue, article about Josh Strang and the beta team. He says, how do you think Stu feels about getting beat by an XC2 rider? Probably not pumped.
So, I don't know if it was this race or the last race. They made a comment on the broadcast that they talked to one of the XC1 guys and they were saying, hey, years past, when the XC2 guys caught you, XC1 guys kind of gave way. Like, if the XC2 guys caught you, you were having a bad day already, just move over and catch the tow, whatever. And they says it's still that way. And they're like, no. They want to race. They want to race for the front. They want to race for the overall. We're going to battle them like they're in our class. And there is no pulling over and letting them by anymore, which I thought was interesting. So I asked a couple guys. I was like, hey, you got any idea who said this? And they were like, yeah, all of us, everybody.
Yeah. But then last week, Grant Davis said that Ben Kelly let him by. Or last race, rather.
Well, I didn't text Ben, so he wasn't one of the ones that told me that. So.
Dirtbag Mag says, what modifications are you going to make to your Yamaha? Sounds like I need to talk to Johnny Walker about that.
Yeah, but he don't ride a Yamaha.
I know, but 254 stroke.
What kind of modifications have you made?
None.
None.
Nope.
No. Which ones do you want to make?
Been trying to get some suspension done, but the guy that I've been trying to get suspension done from wants to BS and give me the runaround.
There's plenty of guys to get suspension done. There's one in a million.
I know.
You need a pipe, some tires, some bark busters, some guards, a seat, a gripper seat. I mean, what are you gonna do? What do you want to do?
Want to get some sponsors that'll give me some products to put on the bike. I've talked to a couple pipe guys. It's on the Pipe Podcast. What kind of pipe? Insert pipe name here. Good branding. No, I mean, so pipes on Yamahas are just noisemakers.
No.
Yeah.
The stock pipe on a Yamaha is a freaking noisemaker.
But
Get rid of that thing.
What I'm saying is that the pipes, you can't really pull more power out of a Yamaha with a pipe like you can other bikes. So you're basically just paying for the new noise.
Yeah, but you get rid of that bullshit. That it sounds like.
Yamahas are a little high-pitched, the 250Fs. But this one is not as bad.
Yeah,
like the new bike.
You just
It's a
don't
little bit
ride it
different
fast
noise.
enough.
That's not true. I ride it very fast. I don't know. I would like to get suspension done. I need to ride it more, to be honest with you. A lot of times I ride it, I'm just filming or like riding around at the tracks. But yeah, just creature comfort things, I think. Bike's good. Still got the stock Dunlop tires on it. They're still good. I have to get some new ones eventually. How do you think the top GNCC riders would do at an outdoor national? Well, I can tell you that one of the mid-pack GNCC riders has gotten top 20s in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, shout out Mason.
Shout out Mason
At Paula,
Simmons.
17th overall.
What was how do you do this past weekend?
He was right around the top 20.
Yeah.
I don't think he scored points. I don't know what the overall was, but I don't think either moto he scored points, but he was like 21 to 25.
I saw he got 21 in the first moto. I didn't see
Yeah.
what he got in the second one because he beat Benny Bloss.
Yeah.
Benny was in 22nd and Mason was
I think-
21st.
I think DeMartel,
Dare.
I think he beat him in the second moto, and maybe
Oh, really? He got 30-something if the
Maybe,
first moto. Dare did. And Dante
Dante might have beat him in
didn't
the
have a good
second one
first
too.
moto.
Yeah, but
Should have looked at those results because I watched the first 3 motos, but I didn't see the final 450 moto.
yeah,
But how would the top GNCC riders do? I don't know. It's a tough call. Caleb went out there, ran top 3 at Unadilla in the 450 class.
in the mud.
It depends. Like we're going to see Josh Toth race Southwick. Hopefully we'll see Stu race Southwick if he can man up to it. He's been challenged. Who else? Like Ben Kelly, I think Ben would do good. I think Johnny Gerard would do really good.
Mason finished 23rd overall at Hangtown, did 21-26. Dante did 28-19, so he scored points in the second moto, and then Dare went 32-22. So yeah, the other 2 off-road guys beat Mason in the second moto, but he had him in the first moto, which is cool.
Solid rods.
Yeah.
It's tough because like moto is a completely different thing. So like I don't know who is riding moto the most. Like Stu rides a lot of moto. I would be interested to see how he did. I know Strang tried to qualify for outdoors back in the day.
He did. Yeah.
He qualified?
Oh yeah.
I bet Thad would be fast at moto. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, especially like, but I don't want to see him like go out there and just give it a whirl. Like I want to see him get a bike set up. I want to see him train over the summer for it. Like get some time on the bike, ride some moto, and then go out there and do it properly.
I want to say Strang scored points.
Jay Bottomy.
So Josh in 2010 went 20-28 at Redbud. So
Heck yeah.
not bad.
Jay Bottomy said Grant said the KTM guys wouldn't help him on the broadcast at the end. So I didn't see that on the broadcast, but he said that on my video, but I guess he doubled down and said it on the broadcast. So I wonder if Timmy was recording that part or if he was only recording Stu's interview at the end.
And then he went 22-20 at Unadilla.
Strang did?
Yeah.
Heck.
That was 2011. So he did 2010 and 2011.
What did
That's cool.
Caleb finish that moto that he hurt his shoulder? I know he went down when he was in third. I think he ended up finishing sixth, though, right?
Was that 2021?
Or
Or 2018?
might have been 2020 or before.
It was 2018. Overall.
He didn't. I don't think he raced the second moto.
Hold on, we're going to find it.
Another interesting thing from Powerline Park, Toth got electrocuted.
What? I heard somebody say that. What happened with that?
So, obviously, that's where the high voltage race used to be, but there's high voltage power lines going through the property. And there's a spot where you go between a fence opening. And Toth said when he came through there that he felt it on both of his fingertips. He had his finger on the clutch and the brake and said that he felt it like jolt through his arm as everything went numb. He's like, man, did I just get hit by a rock? Like, didn't know what happened, but it was the arcing electricity came down and zapped both of his fingers. And at the end of the race, both of his fingers, he said, were still numb and tingling from that.
Damn.
Which is pretty insane. Just going through some notes here to see what else we got. I think we covered pretty much all of it.
So, ran Unadilla in 2018. And Caleb went 6:30.
So 6 in the first one.
Yep. Finished 13th overall.
That's pretty crazy, especially because he was running top 3 the whole time. And
Yeah.
then went down, hurt his shoulder, still raced second moto, got 30th.
And then
So I think that's the best example of a GNCC racer
Then
at
he
an
was
outdoor national.
back in 2021 on a 250 and
Yeah, but also right before that season, he rode through a fence and broke his face.
smoked his jaw.
So that didn't help. And that was one of the biggest what ifs to me because he was that year that he raced Unadilla, he was supposed to race 3. He was supposed to race 3 races in the 450 class. Unadilla was the first one. He was out in front the whole time, and there was a full gas that weekend because everyone kept making fun of me because all I was doing was talking about how everyone was crazy and how Caleb Russell was going to do good and top 10, and everyone was saying that he wouldn't top 20. People were saying he wasn't even going to make the fast 40. I was like, you guys are all nuts. And then he goes out there and he runs in the top 3 the whole first 3/4 of the moto. Mm-hmm. And so I was sitting there going nuts and then ends up getting hurt and not racing the other 2. So then when he makes the transition to full-time after he retired from GNCC, I was like, man, here we go. And then he gets hurt right before the season. So he doesn't get a full training going into it and then not 100% riding it. And then that whole thing gets cut early. Based off of an ultimatum from what it sounded like.
He had a couple top 20s, a 15th at High Point and a 16th at Ironman.
On 250s?
Yeah, I mean, just not overall, but moto scores.
Yeah. But I think he would have done way better in the 450 class.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why he raced 250s. I'm sure that it was probably not his decision, I would assume. But... yeah, I wish that would have played out differently because it would have been pretty cool to see. But even when he was top 3 at Unadilla in the 450 class, like the announcers were having to like explain to the viewers who he was. I was like, this is insane that he's like the greatest of all time at GNCC, and you got to explain to moto fans why he's in the top 3.
Yeah,
his first race out. But anyway, I think that just about covers all of it that I do believe. Anything on the books that you got, Tom?
on the books.
Anything we didn't discuss? Anything you want to discuss? Anything you want to bring up?
No. JoJo just pissed me off again.
Why? What did he say?
He said, I ain't got this number saved.
Did you tell him that you were Big Tom?
I seen him the bird.
Did you tell him you were Team Big Tom? We had JoJo on before, right? That's how the whole Team JoJo and Team Big Tom thing started?
No.
Yeah, he was on the show.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No.
Yeah,
Not with
he
me
was.
on it. Negative.
Had to have been.
Just talked a lot of shit about him revving.
Had to have been.
I said, this is Thomas. And he said, I said, this is Thomas. He said, who the fuck is Thomas? Only guy I know is Big Tom.
I did get confirmation. Joyce Riddle texted into the show. Brody was stuck in 4th gear.
Damn.
So no shifter, stuck in 4th gear. See if you can get that part of the YouTube video pulled up. We'll show a shifter real quick, and then we're going to get out of here.
Oh, what we got it? Here, I got you. Hold on.
Go to the end of the Mason-Dixon video.
The end of it. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Halfway through. Oh.
Got a nice shifter here. I'll sell it to you. I won't charge much.
See, he's trying to make money there for ISD, selling shifters.
Really get under it good.
Really get under it good. Go back to when Grant first came off the track.
Was it after this?
It was before it. It was right there.
You can see Grant Davis throwing the goggles down. He's just been told, you got it done again, kid. 2 races in a row. It is an overall win for Grant Davis.
The KTM guy, dude.
Justin look happy.
I should have won that overall on track.
You had it.
I passed him.
He said I could have won the overall on the track. I passed him.
Yeah, and just before that, he was, KTM guys wouldn't help me. Who?
Yeah.
KTM guys.
That's pretty crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, Grant Davis doing very impressive things. We'll hear from him next week on OTP Tuesday. We'll talk with the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that is turning heads all over the place, Oliver Rag at the buzzer. What kid do you think is on the uprising of being the best?
That'll be cool. See what his thoughts are going into snowshoe.
Yeah. What kid do you think is on the uprising of being the best? I don't know.
What? Who said that?
I'm going to go with Gavin Harwell.
Kid on what are we talking about?
Because he's 13 or maybe just turned 14.
Is this a YouTube comment?
Yeah, he got on the overall podium
In the morning.
at Mid-East
Mm.
on a mini bike.
I can't even find. Oh, here we go. What kid do you think is the uprising of being the best? Me.
That one, is it Travis Lentz that's been winning all the races in
Shit,
the youth
I
race? I will say, last year I was very involved with the youth races because Caleb Wood was racing them. This year, not so much. So, sorry about it. Wish I knew more. I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to go with, what's his nuts? Colton McQuarrie. Was that his name?
Nuts. I don't know.
The kid that,
yeah.
that won the overall.
And the 150B kid.
Because someone told me that he's 13 years old.
Hold on.
So if he's 13 years old and he's beating the girls on a 125, I'm picking him.
Yeah. Colton.
Colton McQuarrie.
We'll see what he's done this year.
You want to also know why? Because he's on a Yamaha.
1, 3. He's won all but one race. He's had 2 overall podiums.
Yep, he's my pick. Top kid coming up. They said he was just too big to race a youth bike, so that's why he went up to 150B in schoolboy.
Hell yeah. Big boy.
Now he's getting on the podium. So that's my pick if he's 13 years old and doing that. Pretty impressive.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, like I said, next week we'll talk to Grant Davis. Maybe we'll line up some other guests too. I want to get back to that. I know I keep saying that. It used to be really cool. We'd have like 2 or 3 people on every week and hear from them. I'll be honest with you. It's just hard to organize it, especially now that we're doing it live. Like before, I had 2 full days to mess with. Like, hey, what time are you available? Let's do it then. And then I'd play it afterwards. Now we're live. It's like a 2-hour window. Apparently, there's a lot of birthday parties that happen.
Down there at the shows, because last time he was on, he had a birthday party or something that he just missed out on, set in the car and
Who?
talk shit. Stu.
Oh, I was talking about Grant, too.
Oh, he had a birthday party.
Well, Grant's had a party tonight, too.
Oh,
Stu was at a birthday party last time he was on.
The boys are throwing down.
It seems like it's everyone's birthday this year.
Yeah. Everybody has a birthday every year.
Battery exhausted. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving the Blue Crew. Yamaha. Shout out Yamaha USA. Shout out Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Use the link in our bio, link in this video to shop RM ATV MC. Hit up TussleInvestments.com. Hit up DimmersPrecisionGrading.com. We will see you next time. They need a big truck or a dump truck driver too. So if you're in North Carolina and you want to drive a dump truck,
Got a CDL.
Demers Precision Grading, Class B, Class A.
Could tell him to call Craig. He needs a job.
Goober Gazer.
Yeah, call Craig.
All right. Anyway, be a friend, tell a friend, let them know about OTP. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Deuces.